Hey, and thanks for taking the time to watch this week's Oldtown short. The grass is always greener. I wonder, have you ever heard the phrase, the grass is always greener? As human beings, we often think that what we have isn't as good as what others have. Other people's kids are more well-behaved than ours. Our friends are more successful. Their bosses are much nicer and more understanding. Their houses are cleaner, their bank accounts are bigger, and yes, their grass is indeed greener. But this phenomenon doesn't only happen with individual people. It also happens in our churches. We tend to worry that our pews aren't as full as the church down the street, nor are our offering plates. Their choir is amazing. Their church school is top-notch. They have a big, expansive, and creative staff, and all of their parishioners always pitch in to help. But it's not just people and churches that fall into the comparison trap. Communities do too. Other school systems are more supported and well run. Other towns handle their money better and offer more community-wide programming. Even their holiday parades and downtown decorations are more inviting. And it's not just us and our churches and our communities. This longing is not something new. We're even told about it in stories from the Bible as well. Stories that happened thousands of years ago. In the Hebrew scriptures, there's a story about a man named Samuel. Now, Samuel was not a king, but he was a great leader for the people of Israel. You see, at the time, Israel did not have a king. They had prophets and judges like Samuel. So when someone had a problem, they would go to Samuel. Samuel would pray to God and listen for an answer. Then Samuel would offer a fair solution. Well, as Samuel got older, some of the elders of the community went to Samuel and said, "You're growing old, and we need a plan for the future. All of the other countries have kings to rule over them, and we want a king too." Well, this kind of hurt Samuel's feelings. He went and prayed to God, and God answered Samuel saying, "Right now, I'm the ruler, and I am fair and just. If they choose a king like the other countries, that person might not be fair, and they might not make good decisions. Warn them of this, Samuel, but also know that they need to make their own decisions." Samuel told the people what God had said, but they didn't care because they wanted to be like all the other countries. So Samuel anointed Saul to be their king. Okay, so what did we learn from that story? Well, we learned that the people whined and complained, and they wanted something different. And though God and Samuel both didn't agree, they let them make their own decision. The people got what they wanted. Saul became the new ruler, and the people celebrated. But in the end, it didn't work out as well as they hoped. Saul was not a good king, and he made lots and lots of mistakes. Friends, sometimes we think we know what we want. Sometimes we look at what others are doing or what others have, and we think that it's better than what we're doing or what we have. But the truth is, comparing ourselves to others never works, because we're not the same. As individuals, as churches, and as communities, we are all created differently. And that's a good thing, because we all have different gifts and abilities to share. We're not supposed to look the same and be the same. That would defeat the purpose. And you know what? Even if we work hard to be just like our neighbor, or just like the church down the street, or just like a successful community that we've seen on the news, we wouldn't be happy. Because trying to be something that you're not never works. The people of Israel back in Samuel's day didn't realize the gift that they had. They didn't realize how blessed they were to have God guiding them. So they chose to crown a king because they thought it would make them appear stronger and more put together. But as we heard, in the end, it didn't work out the way they thought it would. Friends, next time you long for something that someone else has, or you find yourself comparing where you are to where someone else is, or your neighbor's green grass to your field of weeds, I'd encourage you to take a walk outside and find somewhere to sit. And then, rather than worrying about what everyone else has and how your life would be better if it was more like theirs, stop and listen. Don't worry or compare or judge yourself. Just stop and breathe and listen. Because just as God was there to lead the people in Samuel's day, God's still speaking voice can still be heard today. And if we listen closely and we allow God to guide us, we just might begin to realize that our grass is actually greener than we thought it was.